Have you ever gone out and had a great time, and then in the morning you're afraid to see what your text message responses are like? Have that ever happened to you?
Yes.
It happened to me.
Yes, it has. And I wondered, like, I'll look at my phone, and then what's even more horrifying is when I honestly don't remember what prompted that response. Now that's very rare, but it had happened to me. I was like, oh boy, and it wasn't bad or anything. The bad part was that I don't remember. My memory was.
I've had numbers in my phone where I'm like, I don't know who that is or what that is. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one too.
And they're like, hey, how you been? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And it's probably from when I went out and gave my number out and was having a great time. You're like, oh yeah, we'll hang out. Let's do that. You have all these brand ideas, right? And you get home and you're like,
then you don't remember who it was.
Oversharing, dangers of oversharing. I'm sure you can relate.
Oh, I can.
Yeah. It can be a slippery slope. All right, let's just get right into this video. It's called The Dangers of Oversharing.
Here we go.
Intimate, who seem incapable of disclosing anything of what they genuinely feel. It can take time to register the opposite, but no less grave problem. Those who cannot keep enough of themselves to themselves.
Right.
Those whose hunger for closeness overwhelms their concern for their own safety. Those who will, in a poignant bid to hold others' attention, lay out, within minutes of a new encounter, secrets that they would have been wiser to take to the grave.
Yes. People tell the truth to strangers a lot.
This isn't to deny the fun that oversharers can bring to social life. These won't be the types talking about the economic contraction or where they last went on holiday. Contact with other humans should be about getting to the marrow of things they believe, which is why we will quickly get to hear about their ex's sexual difficulty, the vicious row they had about their mother.
Oh my God, this is an AI created thing. That's why it's so wordy, I think. It's just like reading the text.
As will, exactly how much they earn,
I think you're right.
the troubles they have with their digestion, their favorite bedroom position, and the nature of an early childhood trauma. The difficulty lies in the toll these divulgences impose on oversharers themselves. And even
this art's messing me up a little bit. I'm not.
I know, right? Yeah, it's true.
of entertainment is too often followed by shame.
This person's like, it doesn't really relate too much with the topic, but we're getting there.
An awakening. Now that the laughter is dissipated, they may feel as though they were seized by an impulse with which they don't identify. It can take time to difficulty.
Hungover, it's like a truth over, like a overspeak hungover. That's
awakening.
Funny.
Oh, right.
Now that the laughter is dissipated, they may feel as though
after laughter, what did I say? What did I tell them? You know, like what dark secrets?
They were seized by an impulse with which they don't identify. An urge to invite others into their deep self.
Have you ever, it's funny to mention this, have you ever gone out and had a great time, and then in the morning you're afraid to see what your text message responses are like? Have that ever happened to you?
Yes.
It happened to me.
Yes, it has. And I wondered, like, I'll look at my phone, and then what's even more horrifying is when I honestly don't remember what prompted that response. Now that's very rare, but it had happened to me. I was like, oh boy, and it wasn't bad or anything. The bad part was that I don't remember. My memory was.
I've had numbers in my phone where I'm like, I don't know who that is or what that is. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one too.
And they're like, hey, how you been? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And it's probably from when I went out and gave my number out and was having a great time. You're like, oh yeah, we'll hang out. Let's do that. You have all these brand ideas, right? And you get home and you're like,
then you don't remember who it was. I'll ping the number. It used to be fun to ping the number. I wonder who this was. And then I'll be like, hey, I'm going out tonight, like implying that you can meet me if you want. It'd be interesting. Who's it going to be? And then I'll get, who are you?
Who are you?
Response.
I've never done that.
Like, oh, man.
I'm assuming if you were a woman, you probably wouldn't do that. But as a male, you're like, sure, whatever. Show up.
Right, exactly. As a man, I felt like, well, okay, how bad could it be?
On who they might be. painful developmental story tends to lie behind the compulsion. We share too much when we've been too lonely. We fail to understand the risks of overexposure when we have suffered in environments in which so little sincere or real was ever exchanged. We rush to confess because no one showed us a steady, composed route to intimacy.
Wow.
To the
steady, composed. You gotta say that again, buddy.
We rush to confess because no one showed us a steady, composed route to intimacy.
A steady, composed route to intimacy. What a complex, sophisticated, mature thing to think. I mean, I've never seen those words put together.
Well said or well written, right? Yeah.
Composed route to intimacy. Okay, that's okay. All right.
Intimacy. To the isolated former child, no alarm sounds at the thought of having an unbarred conversation with a character who entered the room 20 minutes ago. Such is the promise and lure of togetherness. Such has been the burden of secrecy. We might with time make our peace with remaining somewhat more mysterious.
I like being mysterious. I encourage people to stay more mysterious. Doesn't mean be weird. It just means don't give all your information, stand over somewhere, just be cool. I don't know, look at your phone, don't worry about who's looking at you, just, be mysterious.
I agree with that. Yeah.
People come up, you meet them.
I'm used to that.
You're like, well, hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And if you're still around the same circle, they're like, well, who's that? I met him, but I didn't meet him,
Yeah, right. Create a little
more judiciously weigh up the benefits of a sugar rush of...
Then like 2 hours later, you're like, I don't know. You like the Eagles or something. Like it's random stuff where it's sports related. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
right.
it's not such a great idea to always show your cards,
Disclosure against the slower satisfactions of safety. We might tell very few people indeed what's going on for us in love, with our health, or with work, not because we want to be unkind or boring, but because our first priority has become to look after ourselves.
Yeah, it's important.
We don't have to answer too many intrusive questions, nor, as importantly, do we need to ask them. It isn't, we can learn, any reason to panic if we're still talking about what someone did over the weekend or their favorite kind of gloves.
That's so well said. Talking about rethinking moments of your weekend, that only you yourself are like probably processing. And if you think other people are thinking of you, it's probably not quite the same as what you're thinking.
Any reason to panic if we're still talking about what someone did think,
intensity.
what they genuinely feel after the first course. Isn't, we can learn, any reason to panic if we're still talking about what someone did over the weekend or their favorite kind of gloves after the first course.
Their favorite kind of gloves. Somebody just talking at you going, oh, I love these gloves. And you're like, how long are you going to talk about the fucking... Knock it off.
Oh, I know, right?
I don't care.
We don't have to feel boring for ending up in many a boring conversation. We aren't dull at heart. We're just calmly working out, in a process that could take months or years, whether we've stumbled on one of those very rare characters who truly deserve to hear from the deepest parts of us.
All right, School for Life. Very good. I thought that was pretty well explained. All right. Let's just get into the summary and see what
for example, let's say
let me pause this.
there's something going.
Hope see what kind of value we can add to the conversation. All right, so I'll start. Usually I throw it to you, and you always handle it so well.
Hey.
I just think in
Go for it,
general, I've been practicing this more. I am a full-grown adult male. I do try to be more reserved. I do try to at least know what I'm saying, know the words that are coming out of my mouth, right? Like to not be silly enough or don't be childish. Don't be spastic. Don't be over talky. Just, somebody says, hey, you want a drink? Yeah, that'd be fine. I like that. Oh, do you like Corona? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. As opposed to the other person who'd be like, oh my God, I love Corona. I could drink like a 6-pack a day. I have to buy a case. I went to this place one time and they put the lime in. The lime was so tasty. And oh my God, they gave me another lime. And then I was like, oh my God. Oh, do you like Corona? How about you? Like,
Yeah,
we get
I've
it.
met people like that.
We get
it's
it.
It's true, man. Well said. And well done, too. That impression is nearly flawless.
and then they're buzzing around, right? And they're like, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And then like you're whatever group of friends, and then they come back and they're like, hey, I have a shirt just like that. And you're like, oh God, now we're talking about my shirt. Now you have the same shirt as me. How many times? How friendly are you? And I've been very friendly, probably too friendly. So I'm a bit more aware of how friendly I am being. How about you?
Yeah, that's a great point. Doing things consciously or as consciously as you can, I think, is a great way to put it. Conscious speech, conscious thought, conscious speech, to the extent you can. I tend to like to go with the flow a lot, but yes, sometimes sharing can be overdone. If someone, let's say they use the Corona example as a great one. The person comes back from the bathroom. Wow, did you see the bathroom? Going to the bathroom after a Corona is the best feeling in the world. It just gets into this. It gets into the realm of just strange or too much.
Yeah.
I've been around people who, they feel like they drain your energy. They're believe it or not, they're so high energy that I feel exhausted after dealing with them sometimes.
Yeah.
Perhaps as a result of the oversharing. I think that's another thing. I'll just say basically long and short of it is, it seems to me like a delicate balancing act, a social balancing act. You kind of you share, obviously, you get what you give in this world. At the same time, be aware if you're overdoing it, you might accidentally push people away. If you don't share enough, people will think you're completely uninterested. So that, depending on who they are, that might not be good either. So it's that nice balance.
I would say in the dynamic of, when you're older and you're going out and you want to be cool or whatever, and especially if you're talking to women or even people who can like hurt you, right? To be more mysterious.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to give people more information, especially, I don't know.
I like that. Yeah.
Some people will turn on you pretty quick because they're going to take your kindness as a weakness. So if you get some bully type, like some short man or some Napoleon complex person, they're looking for a way to like start chipping at you. And if you're friendly, they're like, oh yeah, you real do. Because now they see you're friendly, they start thinking they could step on your toes because you're not going to be confrontational.
Yeah. It's true. You when you're out in this social setting, you're bound to run into somebody who's going to try to tool you for being too friendly. You're just quote too nice in that person's eyes. Yeah. One way to steel yourself against that kind of thing or prevent that happening is exactly remain a little mysterious. I like that. I think they're a little more intriguing. They're not quite sure what you're going to do, so maybe they'll be less likely to tool you in a social interaction and leave you be.
I would recommend also be firm when you need to be almost immediately and hold your boundaries up, especially with strangers, right? So you could be kind and all that, but they say some slide to you like, oh yeah, those shoes are pretty stupid, and just look at them and be like, I'd be like, that's your opinion, I don't care, but you're not going to talk to me like that again, and just slam it down.
Yeah, setting the boundary early and hard, for lack of better terms. Someone comes at you hard, sometimes you need to go back at them a little hard, to quote It's Always Sunny.
I've done it way more than I used to, and I do find correcting behavior as it happens is the better way to do that, because you could feel like a fool for being too kind. You could feel like an absolute, you feel like a weakling. You feel like, oh, I was nice and they were mean. Well, you can be nice, but you also need to be assertive, and you also need to understand that fine line of calling it out as it happens. It's good.
That's a great assertive. Yeah, healthily assertive, I think, is key. If you're too submissive to their bad behavior, they're going to keep walking all over you. If you're a bully, well, that's another problem. But if you're assertive, that's good. So you have boundaries, and someone talks badly about your shoes, let's say, in that example, you can straighten them out.
Yeah, and I highly recommend don't curse when you speak. The cursing leads to emotional behavior. I would say you just be firm and try to leave the cursing out. And if you do leave like one curse, like don't keep cursing, because it's going to lead you to an emotional response. And this is a different kind of response. Yeah. This is like a standing your ground kind of response, And I've had it with people,
100% there.
Grown men who's tried to test me, and I'm like, why are you talking to me like that? And then it grows on that we actually have a pretty good friendship after that, because I show that I don't like to be talked to like that, and I'm not going to talk to you like that.
Yeah, there's an element of respect that's kind of earned in that moment. It's like they're going to test your boundary. They hit a boundary because you let them know in an assertive way, and then they're like, all right, this guy's all right. He's like me, okay. We know where the boundaries are. We can go forward.
Yeah.
It's that's so true. Yeah.
Just from doing this show with you, and I realize just how many like scenarios there are as humans on this planet. I mean, just think of some of the topics we cover, and there's so many nuances to life and living, and it's like it can be overwhelming. So I would say find time for yourself, 10 minutes a day, to just show gratitude, breathe, relax as your best, let things go, and just try to operate out of that. Return to that space once a day.
100%.
And do
100%.
it. Do it in the morning when you're first waking up, or do it in the evening. Prayer is also the same time for that. It's important.
Be gracious. Have gratitude for the things that are going well in your life. Change the things you can to the extent you can change them, usually within. But also have compassion. Know that a lot of people are walking around. I'm not trying to criticize them. They're like forces of nature. It's like a hurricane or a tornado.
Yeah.
It's just the way their brains are working, and they don't realize they can help themselves. But in the meantime, you don't have to take their garbage.
Yeah.
You don't have to let them walk all over you. You can protect yourself, and at the same time have fun. And as you said, exactly, return to center.
Reminded me of something super, super valuable that we haven't talked. Silence. Silence is extremely powerful. Your words just keep putting you down, giving more information. Your silence is golden. Your silence is power. Right?
Well said.
So also, don't forget to be silent. Say less.
Be silent. Yeah. Well-timed pauses can actually raise your, I'll say, social value in a lot of ways in a social setting. Silences can help you.
Also, if someone says something sideways to you and you just end that conversation right there and walk away from them, they're like, "Oh, what did I do?" You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah. I've done that. I've done that on more than one occasion where I've just remained silent. Maybe looked at them for maybe 1 to 2 seconds, not angrily, just looked and turned and walked away.
Yeah.
And it's in its own way. You're protecting yourself. It's also empowering. And they're left thinking, "Oh, what did I do?" Well, you know what you did. Maybe.
Yeah, and I've had people do it to me because maybe I was carrying on and joking too much, and we're in a work environment, and they're like, "All right, let's focus."
Sure.
You know what I mean? Let's knock it off. Let's focus. And
it's
it's important to be mature, to be serious, and it is also important to be friendly too. So find a line, and anything else you want to add to it? I thought this was a great conversation.
This was fantastic. I'll just say, find the line, find your center, be your best self when you're out there. As to the extent you can, just try to be your best self. Don't overthink it. Just enjoy. And enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and you'll find if you exercise these types of things, you'll find that you'll operate more from within. So most of the time, most of your issues are within. So if you're cool with yourself internally, it's gonna be seen on the outside as well.
Outstandingly said. Yes.
And with that, I think we're out. Thank you for your time and your input, man.
Yep.